we have been contacted. The next crop circle that occurred was a reply to this. In 1972, Carl Sagan and other physicists, astrophysicists, figured that we had just finished building the Arecibo radio telescope, the largest radio telescope on Earth, and we had the opportunity to send a very strong signal into the universe that could reach a faraway planet one day. And maybe they would decode the signal and then send the signal back. And then it would reach our planet one day. And we would know that there's living entities out there. But that would take a few thousand years. They still decided to send a signal to give a chance to our grandchildren to get, a chance to have a talk with other beings out there. So they figured out a way to send a signal that would be the easiest for others to decode. They use a binary code of ones and zeros, just like a computer, and that can be transferred to a punch card, just like a computer punch card. Okay? And what does it say? It says, we're made out of carbon. This is our chart of elements. This is our DNA. We have a small head, big body. We live on the third planet from our sun. And you see, that's the sun, that's the third planet we live on. And this is the Arecibo radio telescope we're sending this with. This is the technology we're sending this with, a radio telescope. So they sent it in 1972, and 2 summers ago, across a radio telescope commonly hired by SETI to listen for a reply, came 2 crop circles, one being a reply to the Arecibo radio telescope signal, and the other one being a nice little mugshot. Did you hear about that crop circle? No. When SETI was asked about this, SETI is the NASA, search for extraterrestrial life. They're listening with huge radio telescope to see if they can hear something out there that would be life on another planet. One day I'm going to make a comic strip with a huge radio telescope, a SETI guy with the big earmuffs, listening, and in the background, back here, a little UFO. When they saw this, they said, well, it's got to be a hoax. Because if they wanted to talk to us, they wouldn't have sent a crop circle. The radio telescope was right beside it. Why didn't they just send a radio signal? Well, my reply to that is, if they would have sent a radio signal, you and I would never have heard about it. Maybe they wanted to talk to all of the people of the planet, not just a few agencies, right? So instead, they sent instead of a radio signal, they put the crop circles reply directly across from the radio telescope. And you got to realize that here you have a governmental installation that has infrared cameras, guards, and all of this. Nobody saw nothing. Right? And it's not like Doug and Dave can go in that field and do that all night and nobody noticed. And then when you look closely, the woven patterns of the hay are not reproducible readily in the middle of the night stomping around. The actual mugshot is an incredible pattern that generates a negative image of a picture. And you can tell that that being has large eyes, a small nose, a small mouth. And the reply says, this is what we sent, this is what came back. It says, we are carbon and silica. Our table of elements is very similar. It says we have a 3-strand DNA structure. It says we have a big head and a small body. We live on 3 of the planets of our solar system. The third one has 4 moons. And this is the technology we're sending this way. Now, this is not subject to interpretation. This is a binary code. They're talking to us directly. Okay? Now, when I saw this, I got really excited because I'm like, oh my God, they give us a blueprint of their technology. It's right there on the bottom. I'm like, whoa, what is this? Well, the resolution is really poor, so you can't tell what the heck it is. Well, they thought about that. They were nice about that. Because a year prior to this reply to the Arecibo message, in the exact same field, a year to the date of the reply, prior to the reply, to the date, this crop circle occurred, which is exactly what's at the bottom of the reply. Just to make sure we had a high resolution blueprint of how they're using their technology. Here's your radio telescope. It's the exact same installation. You can see here the fans, you know, and all the security equipment, and this is right across from it, and that's what it looks like. Fractal tetrahedron geometry spheres. Everything we've been discussing this morning. So here, they're telling us directly, and notice, you know, that the sphere are fractalizing to smaller and smaller outside and fractalizing towards singularity on the inside. Now, that's just incredible. And that's not the only thing they've been contacting us with. A year after the Arecibo message reply, to the date, so this was a year prior, right? So the Arecibo message came in. At the bottom of the Arecibo message, there was a technology which they had put a year prior, right? Now we're going to go a year after. So last summer, midsummer, a crop circle occurred exactly the same day, but a year later. And this one was an enormous crop circle. Almost 2 football field long. Again, across a large installation communication antenna, which has security all around it. Right across road, this is a huge crop circle. Can everybody see what it is? It's the side view of an alien head with a big eye, the nose, the mouth. Can everybody see that?
Not fully. Oh, yeah.
see it better here? See his eye, his nose, his mouth. And look up here in front. He's got a hand like this. Right? It's the other hand. Right? Like this. And he's holding on to a CD. That's his thumb here, and that's his hand. Okay? He's holding on to a CD. They figured those guys are at CD technology level. We'll burn them one. So they burned us a CD, and sure enough, on the CD is a string of a binary code. What happens when you play that CD? Well, that binary code was decoded, and here's what it says. Be aware of false gifts, they're broken promises. This was last summer. Have we seen broken promises this year? Oh my God. This is very interesting. Much pain, but still time. Certainly a message of hope for all the people that have been working towards a new way of doing things on this planet. Believe there is good out there. And then we oppose deception. And the N has a bell sound. This is an ASCII code, so there's a bell sound typically to end a transmission. So I haven't had time to work on this so much because I'm publishing a unified field theory with a lot of math and a lot of work in it. And so I haven't had time to work on this, but I am convinced that there is an underlying code as well in this. Because these capitalizations are actually part of the code. So if you only read the words that are capitalized, you have false, broken promises, pain, believe, good, OP, deception. I don't know what OP deception is. Could be other people, it could be many things. But go ahead.
Are the capitals at the beginning of the sentences part of the code?
Yes, they are.
How about the office of the president?
Office of the President. Office of President deception. We definitely have seen this year.
Does the bell sound have a certain frequency?
I don't think it does because it's just an ASCII code, that gives a bell sound. So I don't think it has a specific frequency to it. So this is a direct communication, my friend. Go ahead.
You kept saying a date that they did this one day, next year, the same date, next year, the same date. You know what date that is?
Well, it's August 15th, I believe. I'm not sure on that. You might have to verify. And I've been going on the net this year to see the crop circles of August, and the page is not updated past the 10th or the 11th. So I'm anxiously waiting to see if there's been another message this year. Direct binary message. There's been many crop circles this year.
Usually, apparently, August 15th is always close to this radio telescope.
I'm sorry?
Is this close to radio telescope?
Well, it's in England. The two that we saw, the two first ones were right beside the radio telescope. The third one is further from the radio telescope, but then again, it's right beside a huge repeater antenna, which implies communication. So here, we're being talked to directly, they are getting closer and closer to contact. We're going to see this afternoon a little bit more of the influence that other species in our galaxy may have had on our planet early in its evolution, and how that relates to our current physics, and how that relates to the physics that I'm presenting to you today. Because there's a direct relationship. And it has to do with some of the monuments that are found all around the Earth.